We call this the NT loop linear monster walk. It's like a standing, moving hip thrust. It's really a glute killer, and it's a lot harder than it looks. Now, let me give you a few details in regards to how to do it properly. Let's start from the start, as we like to say, right? First off, right now I'm using an anchor with the anchor strap, but I can use a single wrap of the band if I don't have the anchor strap, as long as I have a smooth surface like I've got it here to wrap the band around. That's number one. Number two is I want it anchored about mid-shin to my ankle level. Now let's talk about the execution of the mechanics. It's going to be just around the bottoms of my calves, around my Achilles. I want my feet to remain shoulder width apart. So don't allow your feet to come together. I want my feet pointed straight ahead the entire time. And I also want my hips pointed straight ahead the entire time. So the coaching cue I like to give is pretend you have a spotlight coming from your belly button and shine that spotlight directly in front of you, and don't allow it to move laterally at all. Keep it on the star the entire time. From here, my legs are straight as I walk, forward and backwards. So another coaching cue I like to give, which a lot of people find entertaining, is I say more Frankenstein, less Michael Jackson. Right? A lot of people like to do the Michael Jackson thing. That's not asking what I'm trying to tell you to do. Also, we're not in the athletic stance. I want to have my knees straight, my hips straight. Because if you're in an athletic stance and you walk back, I'm not saying that's not doing anything. It's just not what I'm showing you here. I want to be able to get hip extension here. And I'm not really getting much hip extension there. I want to be able to emphasize that motion. For that motion, you need to be up tall. Legs are straight. So I'm going to go back as far as I can, taking the biggest steps I can take. Doesn't mean they're going to be big. Once you can't get any more tension from the band, you want to resist it on the way back. How far back do you go? Just until you lose tension on the band. So about right there. If I go in any further, it's just going to get slack on the band. And we would do this for about 30 seconds to a minute on average. You're going to get about 6 steps up, 6 steps back, give or take, maybe 4, maybe 5. No rotation. Try to keep your weight centered on your feet. Don't lean backwards. Don't put your weight back on your heels. Weight centered on your feet. Now here's a cool little tip. Let's say you really want to get those biscuits going. Once you can't do any more reps, you're going, oh, and let me tell you, if you're doing this right, this is one of the best glute burners that you'll try, I promise you. You can do a drop set. Check this out. I take the band, and now I put it behind my knees. It's actually just above my knees, so that's the crook of my knee. It's actually at the bottom of my thighs. I keep my legs locked straight. Rarely will I tell you to do that as a trainer. In this case, we will. And then you finish it off. Okay, that's a little bit high. I'm going to drop it down a little bit. So now I'm going to go below my knees. That's actually better for me for this one right now. So what I've done is I've shortened the lever arm, or if you're a biomechanics nerd, it's moment arm. All I've done is I've brought the resistance closer to my hips. Basically, I've given myself a mechanical advantage over the load. It's kind of like a drop set. So making the pin lesser of the weight and finishing out the reps. And then I can go for another 30, 45 seconds, and even a minute. Just make sure the movement is hip extension, not knee flexion, knee bending. It's hip this way. No rotation. So ideally, you want it around your ankles. I just showed you a little extra tip if you're a trainer, you want to show people how to burn out. Now, the other benefit when you do these linear monster walks of having the band's NT loops higher is that depending on your strength level, let's say you're a trainer and you have a boot camp and you've got people of varying strength levels, and we have 2 NT loops. We have the red, it's the lighter, we have the blue, it's a little heavier. Let's say maybe the red is still a little heavy for them. Maybe heavy at their ankles, but if you raise it up a little bit, give them mechanical advantage, it fits perfect.